Hey all, it's Harmon from Misfit Adventure. All right, after a bit of a hiatus due to some very wonderful developments in the family, uh, we are back at it to start recording some of our adventures into making a card game in Godot. Again, the current model is 4.6, and I believe I'm at 4.61 stable. There might be a 4.62, but we don't project it changing anything. But if it does, we'll make sure any updates come into the third video series. All right, so we have our files right now, but we have some improvements we can be making. I will make sure that our script is a little bit decluttered now. We have something that's functional right now to go into. So if, just as a reminder, I will go ahead and hit play. I can move cards around, but I don't have any real emphasis on it. Sorry, let me try and... That doesn't work right now, but we'll maximize it, but you can see that. So we don't have any emphasis on what card we're doing. It can go between. We want to get a little bit more, what's the right word? We just want to make sure that it's very visible, like as we, which card we're selecting. So we kind of want it to pop out. All right. So one of the first things we are going to go ahead and do is we're going to add a script to the card itself. So if you look here, you can see the icons. That means there's a script. This means that there's actually something to open in editor. So we can just hit card right now, and then we're going to go ahead and attach script. All right, card.gd is perfect. So let's just go ahead and create it. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can see that there's just a standard script that comes up with Godot. So let's go ahead and out here, we're going to add a signal for hovered, and we'll add another signal for hovered off. All right, and we're going to want to go ahead and change some of our functions. So instead of this pass, what we're going to do is make sure that all cards must be a child of the card manager. And we want to make sure we've set that up so that basically we can update our card manager script, but we can have all the effects within this card.gd. So we're going to go ahead and change this to get parent, I'm hitting tab, dot connect underscore card underscore signals. Self. Okay. And I'll just put a note in here. All cards must be a child of card manager, or this will error. Trying to make sure I type slow enough for both the video and also just for my own sake. Again, just for anyone watching who is new to Godot, just remember this symbol means it's going to be a note, so don't have to worry about it reading as code, which is why it is grayed out. Okay, so we are going to want to make sure that we're calling every frame. So, see this? Yeah, called every frame. Delta, this is the elapsed time frame since previous. Great. We're just going to want that to still pass. So we don't need to touch that right now. So let's go ahead and go down. All right. Let's do function. Excuse me. Way too much spacing. We're going to do that underscore. I was hitting space like a maniac. On underscore area underscore 2D underscore mouse entered. And we're going to go ahead and close that function out. Arrow key void. Now we're going to have it emit signal. And we're going to put in quotes, hovered. And stuff. All right, we've got one where if it's going to be hovered on, so that's good. And give it some space. We're going to do function on, oops. Man, I'm not typing well today. You would think typing slow would help me out more, but on area 2D mouse exited. There we go. Once again, the arrow key for void, or the arrow symbol for void. Emit signal. I hit the tab, so that's that fast. Now we're going to be hovered off. Yep, there we go. And we're going to make that stuff. Cool. Okay, so we now are having it so that it goes card by card. I'm going to hit Control S. So this works really well for making sure that the cards themselves now have their own script, and the card manager, we can just focus on having the effects we want to work, but the card will now emit a signal and see the script for one is also going to apply to both. All right. Now, I may have actually messed some of this up. So this is always good for error scripting. So I believe I needed to do is, let's just go ahead and copy all this. Because I'm realizing right now it's only at one and it needs to be at both. Let's do detach script. All right, we do have card GD, but let's go to the scene itself. And now, okay, so now our card has the script. Let's Control S. Let's see if that worked. Let's go into main. Yeah, okay. So if anybody is confused, I had it. You need to open up the card scene and attach it. I was just attaching it to this particular card. But now because I opened the scene and attached it, it's now part of every card. But we still have card manager, which is good. So that is the mistaken correction. But luckily we didn't have to change any code. And now, again, if I go back in the main tab, I can see that there is a script on both card and card 2. All right, let's go back into card manager now. All right, here we're going to have to do a little bit of work. And this is going to take a while. So again, this might be in 2 videos. But let's go ahead and start adding some new variables in. So we want the card to pop out as we hovered over it. So just what we set up for card.gd. So variable. Oops. Is underscore hovering on card. All right, we've set a variable now. We don't have everything to it yet, so we're just going code by code, line by line. All right, we don't need to change this one. So now let's see. Function. Yep, get global mouse position. All right, this function for process that we did last time is still good. All right, this input event is still good, so we're still having it set for dragging the card, or otherwise no. So that's this tutorial. We'll get into more and more as we go. Thank you for sticking in there and watching, everybody.